Hey guys, how's it going? See on the bench tonight, I've got my latest packs of the X-Wing, build your own X-Wing. I actually have 2 months. I've got issues 49 through 57. I plan on building 49 through 53 at least tonight. I've got all the parts here. There's a screw box, and this is an aftermarket part that I bought for the engines on the X-Wing. The engines on the X-Wing as they stand, well, actually let me bring one over and I'll show you what it looks like. Right now, I have three of the wings are done, laser cannon and the engines. With what comes stock with the kit, you've got your laser cannon. I'm waiting for the video to okay. You've got your laser cannon there, and it does actually come out the end pretty bright. They recommend light blocking it. I think it's cool the way it comes out right now. The way the engine is lit up, the way the base is lit up, the way the end is lit up. I think that's really awesome. I'm going to leave that way. And then you've got the engine, which has a single red LED. And that's what the engine looks like. It's cool, I like it, but I really think that it can be improved upon. And so I went to Falcon 3D parts, and he's also who I bought parts for the Millennium Falcon. Someday I'll have to show you guys what that has on it. But on the parts that I bought so far, because I'm planning on buying more parts, I'm going to end up putting quite a bit of money into this one because the parts are pretty cool. This is what I'm about to install in it, and it's going to be off screen because it's going to take a lot of work. I've got to take 3 engines apart. In the wing that we're building now with the engine, I will build it in as it goes. But with what I've got right now, you know, having 3 wings already done, I've got to take them apart to put this together. We've got the engine lights. These 4 lights are for the cockpit and for the droid. Hey, Kenny. Eric, it is huge. Extremely huge. This thing is, it's studio scale. It's 1/8 scale, and it will rival the Millennium Falcon when it's done for size. It will be about, it probably wouldn't fit on the table here. So, so these 3 lights go into the cockpit, and one, it says, goes into the droid. Not sure how it's going to work in the droid because the droid, R2-D2, we all know and love R2-D2, he's already got a light in it. The wire for the light runs up through his foot into his head, and that's how he lights up. Let's see if I can get it. There. The lights are actually supposed to be steady. It's flashing because it keeps losing contact. So, and I've shown pictures of the Millennium Falcon before. You guys know I've got 3 of the 4 wings done. Or not Millennium Falcon, the X-Wing. 3 of the 4 wings are done. As is the nose of the ship. That should give you an idea of how big it's actually going to be. This cockpit, you got to remember the engines go back here. This will sit between the 4 wings. And the other aftermarket part that I'm planning on getting, and right now this is just stuck together. They build it up. It builds up as a framework. Started working on the nose, the last issues I got. But the other parts that I plan on getting will replace the cockpit. It's going to be the parts are going to there's clear clear acrylic with spots for the lights to actually go in, so that instead of having a little bit of lights here, these are actually screwed in, so I can't take them out. But there's only about 3 or 4 lights on each thing. The whole cockpit will be lit up. So, other things about this board. Oh, and I put this on just to show. This is the screwdriver that you get to build the X-Wing. Not a very good screwdriver. I started it once and had to cancel, and then I got the opportunity to get a 20% off, and so I was only 2 months in. It's saving me money by buying the kit from the start over. So I've actually got an extra laser cannon and an extra cockpit and an extra one of these screwdrivers, and I broke one of them already. But so here's the really cool part about, hang on. That does not look good. And let me bring it down. This is supposed to be good to 16 volts, which I only had it going at 9 volts there. Now it's down at 6.3 volts and it's acting normal. It's every time I touch the board. By the way, that is I don't know if you can see it, that is a Arduino that's in there. So you've got 3 pots on here. And you can change the color of the engines, what they actually put out. That's what the first pot does. The second pot changes the speed of the flickering. Thanks, Eric, for letting me know. I'm sure what it was the other day is the mat wasn't on there. So you can change how fast the lights flicker on the engines. And then the third is to change the rates on the cockpit lights. I really don't see anything different on the cockpit lights, but you know, once it's in, I will make the adjustments and we'll go from there. So let me go ahead and turn this off, put it away, because even if I do all the issues I have currently, I won't get very far into the wing. I won't get to the engine. So, and same time, I know that these are causing a glare, so let me move them out of the way. I'll bring over one at a time. Like I said, last video, screw box. It is really important to keep these things straight. Let me see, did I miss anything? No. Something I didn't realize and have not looked at the movies since then, since I started this, but something I didn't realize, but I'm pretty sure it's true because they're usually pretty accurate on these kits, is that there was the barber pole striping on 2 of the laser cannons. So this is parts of the laser cannon, and the nice thing about the DeAgostini kits is there is very, very little glue. They've got the information about the movies, about the universe that the model is set in the front, and then you get to your part where it's got the parts that you're using, and then your instructions. They used to have, either on the back page or back here, they used to do what's in the next issue. They've updated it from the what's in the next issue to a picture like this or similar on the back of every one, because when you get the next issue, you'll know what's in it. So first thing, just like with any of the others, first thing I always do is I inventory the parts, make sure that I've got everything. And I'll tell you guys, the wings are really easy by the time you're doing the fourth one. So it's really simple. First step here. And that's, like I was saying with the Terminator, how there's so much more that I've got to read it. Here, I've never read what it says to do, because you look at the pictures and you can tell. The laser cannon pushes on there, and it's good. It's pretty tight. And the other part, same thing. And if you look, I don't know if you can see that, it's actually tight enough that it's cutting through part of the plastic off. That's normal. So, there's the laser cannon barrel. Then you've got this piece here, which is just plant-on details, along with this little part here. A little bit of details to go on the outside. Oh, Chris. Come on, camera. Hopefully you guys can see, get a little bit of detail out of that. And this just pushes onto the side here, like that. And the fit on the parts from DeAgostini is so good that there is no glue needed. Which is fortunate, because in some spots I'm going to need to take some stuff apart, like I said about the engines earlier. And then this just slides in here. These two little arms, there's holes right there. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah. That the pins pop into, and they are a little bit finicky to get in there. And so that's how that looks when it's done. This part, we're not using this in this issue. That is literally all that's done in stage 49. They snap a little bit, but if you look, oh wait, this one's out still a little bit. There. They do snap a little bit, but look, pulling on it, it will not come off. And there are some parts that I've looked at and I have glued them. It doesn't say you need to glue them, but there are some parts that I have glued because I don't want to lose them. And so that's the end of one issue. Next issue. This is where it's kind of funny what they're doing, because they're giving you enough to build and they're giving you some really nice details, but the problem is those details, once you put the kit together, you can't see anymore. They are literally inside the model where you can't see it. Ooh, I didn't see the fiber. I didn't cut the fiber. Good. Literally, the assembly I'm building in this out of this one is going to go inside of here. You won't ever see it again once this closes up. They do make on, Falcon 3D Parts makes some replacement parts to where you can actually have hatches on here where you can open it. I'm not going to. I don't see any reason to, I know they're there. I'm there. I'm into this more for the actual ship itself, not so much for the details inside. Although I do things like the engines and the cockpit lighting, because I want those details. So again, making sure I have all the parts, which it looks like I do. That's that one. that one and that one. This assembly was the first thing that you get when you start the build. This is the first time I've put the full kit together, but there's 4 wings. This is exactly the same on every wing. I've done other DeAgostini kits. I've got the R2-D2 and I've got the Millennium Falcon. I'll tell you right now, a 1/43rd scale Millennium Falcon is impressive. It's huge. Part of the laser mounts. That laser cannon emitter, and I do not see the tip. Okay, looks like I might, oh, never mind. There it is. That's something else that these companies are really good about. If you misplace a part, if something is broken or you lose it or it didn't show up, they are really good about replacing these. So here's what I was just about to panic about. I don't know if you can see it right there. That is the emitter for the laser cannon. That is the only part that I would think you would glue. You can see it right there. That actually does not have to be glued in. It fits in there and just stays there. So first thing it said, step 1 says to grab all the parts of the laser emitter. It is kind of neat the way they thread everything through. But again, these are details you will not see once the kit is built. It's really pretty simple. So there's the end of the laser emitter, and here's the light that goes in there. Just slips in there. It does slide in there pretty well, but it needs to be pushed all the way down to where it's not going to come back out, and it ends up protruding pretty well. And what I can do, it'll have me do this anyway at the end, but just to make sure, that's what it looks like inside. Trust me, I have the souped up magnifiers. Where are they? I've got multitudes of this type of tweezer that's got the really fine points. And I do have, in case I need them, the souped up magnifiers. On here where you have varying colors, not near as bad as on the Ecto 1. Right now the Ecto 1 is all black parts. Hey Donnie, you didn't miss me this time. But yeah, the Ecto 1 has all black parts, so that gets really interesting trying to see some of the stuff. Okay, so that goes down in there. Next set of parts. Let me make sure I've got the right ones. Yeah. Next set of parts are these, and they just push together over top of the wire. And it does say, I have actually read the instructions, even though I just ignore them for the most part. It does say right here to be careful that you don't pinch that wire, because you don't want to break it. So that pushes in there like that. And then there's a keyway in here, matching slot there. And it just pushes together. Locks in. That's why there's no glue needed, because everything is like that. It is that tight. I'm not sure if you guys heard that click when it went in there or not. Would help to take the parts off the page. And so the next piece is this one. It's got a keyway, goes on here. It's also got a keyway and a gap. That gap is very important because that gap is where the wire actually comes out on the side. So you push it in again. That time you should have heard the click. And then the wire will go right here like that. And this piece will slide in there, trapping the wire in that gap right there, so that you're not pinching the wire and it gets out the side of the laser emitter. And then these two parts just push together. And then again, the key, the keyway. And that basically is your into the laser emitter. Take a good look, guys, because this is the last you'll ever see of it. Because what happens next is you take all the rest of the parts that are left and you put them together. It says right here, they suggest light blocking here. I don't think it needs light blocking. I think it looks cool with the light. To me, it looks powerful when the light comes out when you turn on the laser. And simply make sure I got this the right way in there. Yeah, got the wrong side. So two pins on here, two holes for the pins in there, and you just line it up. Line up the pins. If I can see that one. It's almost lining up. There, that's better. So line up the pins and then it just will sit in there like that. It's okay, I got it on the back but not on the front now. I wonder if something is not in far enough. So I'm concentrating on getting this in here, guys, because it's very important that the emitter is in the right spot, because if it's not in the right spot and it's not hitting the fiber optic, then the laser doesn't work. Better. Yeah, if you can, I don't know if you can see, it's way out of focus, but there is a gap there that the fiber will sit in once the rest of the laser is put together. So once that's in there, just close the other half on top of it, making sure that the wire comes out through there and does not get pinched. And then again, no pins, nothing holding this together. But what they do for that is this cap here goes on the back end here, and that holds it together. And what they're doing different, other times they've had me you have the entire laser assembled before they tell you, oh yeah, put the fiber optic in. So the fiber will just slide in here, push it as tight as you can against the LED. Hang on a second, guys. Never mind. Spam call. I know it's a spam call because it's from California and I no longer live in California, but my phone number does. So hang on before I do that. Let me see if I can highlight those. There are two holes in here. I don't know if you can see them, but there's two holes in here that the ends of these rods go into. And then you got your D shape so that it won't go in any other way regardless, but it's important to get those holes lined up. And the plastic rods actually pop in there a lot easier than I expected. The first time I was like, this is gonna suck, but it actually went in really easy. Never had it go quite that easy because they actually slotted right in there without me fiddling with them at all. They just shot right in. So now, feed the fiber optic into the barrel, and this is where it gets interesting because it's going from larger to smaller. Oh, it's playing nice tonight. It went straight through there as well. Push that down. We've got two halves of the retainer barrel. What do they call it? Suppressor mount. That's right. This is the little half moon piece here is a suppressor. This piece slides in to here. It locks in. It will lock in here just like that, and slide the fiber optic into it. Sorry guys, don't mean to be off camera. There's two pins on here. Actually, let me take the fiber optic back out. I think I may have slid it out on the bottom too. There's two pins on here that have got to line up. Garstopy me. It would help if I wasn't putting one half on backwards. Here, let me show you what I'm doing, guys. This part should be over here. Hey, Spence. So let me try this again. Let me turn this around to where it's facing the right direction. There, that's much more better. Because I think I popped the fiber optic out before I go any further, I want to make sure it's down in here, pushing up against that bulb. I've got one of the laser cannons that I think I have to take apart because of that exact issue. I may end up eventually gluing the fiber using Elmer's or something like that to the front of the bulb so it doesn't come out. And then the laser emitter comes down here, slides on just like that. The suppressor, there's a little keyway right here. Suppressor will slide down on here. They've made changes to this. It fits tighter than it did in previous ones. But it fits down because the other ones, the other suppressors, I'm probably going to end up gluing. This one I won't need to because it's on there good and tight. And the last part is that little lens that I thought I didn't have. So, pushes on there, and now this one should look not as bright I'm wondering if the batteries are wearing out on this. When I get to the, because these are going to be, the whole assembly here is going to be easy to take off. If I need to, when I get to the end of the build, I will go through and make sure the fiber optics are working. But there's the 4th laser cannon for the X-Wing. And that's the end of issue 50. What are we up to? 707. So issue 51, I'm sure we are, well, I do know we're continuing on with the wings. Issue 51 is actually a pretty cool chunk of plastic. It's the last of the 4 wings. I have listened to people in videos complain because a lot of this detail is not going to be visible once the model is finished. There's a lot of detail throughout this that's not going to be visible. It's intrinsic in the way that this ship is built. If you didn't put if they didn't put the extra details in, they wouldn't get 100 issues out of it. So that's the leading edge there. Like I said, 4th one, guys. I am glad to be almost done with wings. Power couplings. Some very small detailed parts. I mean, that is probably 5 millimeters on a side. So let me set these down here so I don't inadvertently lose them somewhere in the book. And so what it has you do, first thing you do is you put this, and this is where the laser is going to mount. You'll just push this in here, and that's where the wire will go through for the laser. The next detail is here, and the detail you can tell exactly where it goes just based on the shape. I had it backwards. And again, the pins are made at such a tight tolerance that there's absolutely no need for glue there. It's down flush, and it's not coming off. I could get it off, I could pry it off, but there's no reason to. This red piece here, all it's doing is actually putting a bump on the wing, same with this other one. On the other wings, these pieces actually were, in a couple of places, they actually went out from the red into the gray. I'm not sure whose day it was to cut parts off of sprues when they took these off, but as you can see that white there and the white there, I may have to go back and repaint. And this part here can be a royal pain. Like I said, this is the 4th one. It's the leading edge. Let me make sure I got this the right way. Pictures are good, guys, because the pictures keep me from putting things on backwards. And once this is in, you don't want to be trying to pull it back out, because of how well set in it is. They say they use the back of their screwdriver. I use the back of a pair of tweezers to make sure that these are down. And there's the leading edge in detail in place. The last 2 parts are these power couplings. On the power couplings, you know which one goes where based on the gaps in the bottom of the coupling. On one, there's 2 gaps here, 2 gaps, and it goes over here. And on the other one, there's a single gap that covers this trench right here. And that's this issue done. That's issue or stage 51 done. Pretty simple. With as quick as this is going tonight, I might do 2 months instead of 1 month. Because I received today the more parts for the Ecto 1. So that'll be coming up shortly. Upper port wing reinforcing metal pieces. And that's with the weight of these models, they put metal frames in them because otherwise they would collapse on themselves. The Millennium Falcon, when I built it, probably has somewhere in the neighborhood of 750 screws in it. On the back of the last one, sorry, there. Oops. Looks like it is a version of a TIE fighter. Nothing I've ever seen before. But it's got, it looks like it's got TIE bomber wings on it. Matter of fact, oh, I'm not sure if you guys caught this one or not. I forget, I've got these forever, you don't. And then there's the back of the first one. Metal frame will, like I said, will support the wing. There's also detailed parts, and for the first time tonight, TIE Defender? Okay. First time tonight, I actually have some screws. And the screws are all labeled XW 0 something, or XW so far. These are XW03, and I'm sure that stands for X-Wing. And what I always do with my screws is I take them out of the plastic, drop them in with the stash of screws I've got, just so that I don't lose them. So on here, this frame, and you can see that, I don't know if you can see that the screw holes are actually countersunk, because these are countersunk screws. And this will just go on here. There are pins as well as screw points. Could almost get away without any screws on here, because you know it is hard to show on, can't really show it on camera, but it is in there. It doesn't fall out, but it does say to take 2 screws and put one on each side, and that makes sure that it does not come out at all. And again, when building something like this, it is imperative to have a magnetic screwdriver. You can use theirs. I went out and bought, this is actually a second set of screwdrivers I have bought, because I ran into a screw that I couldn't get with the other set of screwdrivers. So I bought another set of screwdrivers. And they're not bad screwdrivers. You can use them for other things around the house. I have several times. And that's in there. Not going to come out for anything. And then there's more plant-on details. And if you look, it's kind of funny because they didn't skimp, or they didn't spend more than they had to. It's white on this side. The side that you see is painted, and only the side that you're going to see. So the one we're doing, the first one that I'm doing has three lugs on it or 3 holes for the pins. The pins come down, or exist. Hang on. Oh, nope. Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. This one has 2. Why is that not? Oh, I'm trying to hit the... There's 5 pins here. There's 2 higher and 3 lower. I'm trying to hit the 2 lower, or 3 lower. So that one just pushes on there and makes it look like it's actually going under the silver disc. Same thing on this side with the other one. There's that one and that one, and you can see where each of the pins is. And then there's 2 conduit bunches, one with both of them have 3 holes, or yeah, both have 3 holes. And let me see, this one has a slight slant on the end of the conduit so that it will go up here. And I don't know if you saw, this one was not going down. The rest of them have gone down pretty quick, or pretty easy. That one needed a little bit of extra push because, you know, close tolerances. Let me double check. Okay, that goes. I'm looking right now because this. Okay, I've got it on the right way. Oh, that's why. See, this one here has it ends, the bar here ends before going to the metal, and that's because of the lug there. That's it, except for the one last piece here, and that one goes inboard on the wing. Come on. So, Eric, there were your snaps. It does snap sometimes. There's a picture on the back of this one. Looks, not sure what kind of a ship, but it looks like it's about to enter the atmosphere and have a bad day. And that was as far as I planned on going. But unless you guys object, I'm going to keep going. So, issue 53, this would be month 14 because I am getting it in 12 months rather than 24. This is the end. This is my second month for month 7. And then there's the inside, the landing bay of a Star Destroyer, I'm sure. upper port engine mount. Speaking of which, the upper and lower engines are slightly different because it actually opens for the landing gear to come out. Probably the landing gear will be put in using magnets. That's the way they did for the Millennium Falcon, so that you can close the landing gear doors and and have it actually be closed, or you can open it and then put the landing gear inside. Figured you guys it wouldn't bother you too much. This is actually the this is what ties everything together. The wing's gonna come out here, the engine's gonna be here, laser's gonna be out here, and this here is actually how the wings will go together. Let me see. Got the wrong one. Remember what I said about the older suppressors? I just had one fly off because I moved the piece. And see, those will probably get glued in at some point. Oh, trust me, I could break an 8-hour live stream because of the amount of parts I got for the Terminator and for the Ecto one, but I'm not going to tonight. So, how they mesh together, you see how they mesh together? The motors, there are actually going to be motors inside to make the wings open and close. I may have two of the same. I do. I have two upper wings. So pardon me while I wet my whistle a little bit. You know, no, actually that one is actual Guinness, but I've done homebrew Guinness, and what I've found is that some of my homebrews lose the carbonation too quick because, and I think I mentioned this last time, because of the plastic bottles. I've purchased glass bottles, and I also have I bought some caps and a capper, so we're going to see how that works out. And Eric, getting back to what I was about to say, I could actually probably break Kenny's 8-hour live stream, and I would be playing with wood because I could work on the Black Pearl and not get hardly anywhere on it. Plus I have, I want to say, another 20 wooden models upstairs. And what I'm doing, guys, right now is, like I said, I always take the screws and put them directly into the holder. That way I know where they are. Plus, if you look, they give you plenty of spares on here. But I don't want these little screws floating all over the place. And what'll probably happen, because I have several aircraft models, and everybody knows how aircraft, when you build them, they need weight in the nose. You know, model aircraft usually need weight in the nose. I'm laughing at Kenny's comments about the wood. But no, you usually need weight in the nose to keep aircraft from sitting, what I call sitting down. So that's where these screws are going to end up eventually going. And if you can see, I've just to label these, I used to use my label maker. Now I just pull the label off of the plastic bag. So in here, we're about to, like I said, the wing goes on here. Okay. Take the wing plus all components. Okay. First thing to do is, and this is where they spend a lot of parts. It gives you something to do so you don't feel like you're spending a lot of money for this kit, which I know how much I'm spending. It's ungodly. I'm just really glad that my wife lets me. So that is just the two circles inside were a separate part that slid through or slid down, and the pin went through the back of it. These then go onto here, and you can see the indentation there. That's where the pin goes into. There's the hole back there for the pin. Might need, gotta go off camera a second so I can get somewhere where I can get this flat. So that's that detail put in place. And then this metal bracket here, and you guys will see me. Very true, Kenny. I love these models. So, and you guys will see me turning parts back, or the parts back and forth while I'm trying to make sure that I'm putting them in the right place. And I was about to put this bracket in the wrong spot. So this just mounts on here, the curvature there matching up to the engine bell. Nice snap in there to go in there. And we're going to lock it down with an XW02 screw. And that's what it now looks like on the front. So the wing and the engine mount like this. Forget to see engine. Wow. I was just bringing them together and I actually just slapped it into place without trying. More XW02. And what, you guys can't see what it says, but here it says parts fit together with XW02 in all 5 holes. And they've got arrows indicating all 5 of these holes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. My wing just broke. And 5 under here. Come on. Once, hope you guys didn't hear my shoulder pop. Old age is sneaking up on me. Once the first one's in there, the rest of them are easy. It would, but I'll tell you what, half the fun of lighting is figuring out how to do your own lighting. And I'm one of the people that is firmly convinced that too much lighting is never enough. It's funny you say that, Eric, because I'm still waiting. They came out with an ad, and I tried to get into the trial run. They came out with an ad from wasn't DeAgostini, it was Eagle Moss, threatened us with a Enterprise D kit. Still waiting for them to come out with that. They also have threatened the Batmobile, and I just recently found out that DeAgostini did a trial run, and I really wish that they would go back and do it. They did a trial run about 2 years ago of the Apollo 11 on the moon. Come on, Spence. That's what what's his name? J.J. Abrams did. Okay, and that's what that looks like. And by the way, guys, I told you that here is where the laser cannon is going to fit, and the wire is going to run through here. It's only going to go as far as this. They're going to give me a wire later that runs all the way around here, up around here, and out here. As far as redoing the engines, I've got to get down into this part, because this is where the engine light harness comes through, and it actually comes all the way through here. So on these older ones, on the wings I've already got done, I literally have got to take these parts, and this out to be able to take the engine off the back here, because there's one. There, that thing went again. I can't see it right now. I'll find it in a bit. But there's only one screw that holds on the engine. Once I get that screw off, this will come off really easy, but I've got to replace the insides of this, because here, let me show you. So this is just pressed on. There's the LED inside. There's the lens for it, and the original baffle. So on this lens, I'm calling it a lens, it's just a piece of clear plastic. I've got to drill through here to put the wire through, and the baffles from the aftermarket kit don't have the pins. So once I get that drilled through, I then have to manually get that centered so I can glue it, because between the keyway and the size of the baffles, it can be very tricky. It is a very tight fit to get that back in there where it belongs. But this will be completely replaced by that clear part from earlier. Just catching up on the comments, and I agree on I do agree that the lighting you don't want it too bright. I haven't overlit my models yet, knock on wood. Okay, so back to this one. Sorry, I got sidetracked again, guys. That happens. Okay, so there's the 5 screws. Just making sure. Okay. Align the engine bracket. Had to figure out where I was at. Oh, I turned it around. And when I'm turning the parts back and forth, I'm matching them to the pictures, just because it's easier. It's kind of funny, a kit like this that you build only using the pictures. So that dropped in there, and what, you know, more metal, more bracing, it's going to hold the kit together better. That's 2 more XW2 screws. Double check. 2 there. So 2 XW and 2, or XW2 and 2 of the XW3. If it was daylight, I'd see squirrels. I got like 5 of them that live in the backyard. Ah, come on. Oh. And yes, I am talking to the screw. Kenny, it's funny you mentioned the Titanic, because, you know, I have the same kit and it comes with a lighting kit. Not one. It's probably not going to use it because it's got 3mm LEDs that come out from to the side to light up the stacks. But it's funny you mentioned the Titanic kit, because as I'm putting away the stash upstairs, I dug out the Titanic last night because it was going on the top shelf, and my wife said, "Nah, don't put it there. Put it down in the shop." So the Titanic is now up over my left shoulder. Let me show you. January 1st was the starting date for that, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, I'll be doing some. I've got the original parts, the original lighting kit. I'm going to be doing some of my own lighting on it, and I've picked up a lot of aftermarket. So already showed that. Unfortunately, I can't. Well, maybe. Hang on, let me see. Of course. Let me move the mic for a second. The other camera. Let me see. Everything back to normal, and now I'm actually looking directly over top of the over the camera when I look at the messages. Thanks for the suggestion, Eric. Sometime, Kenny, I'll have to post some pictures of my Titanic. It does actually. Titanic that I built, the 350 scale, was my first lit kit, and one of my first kit that I finished in 25 years. My wife saw me looking at it and knew I was a Titanic nut, and it just showed up one day. Okay, so engine baffles. This part here will probably get glued in. Otherwise, it can fall out. Okay. It's all parts. Let me move this wing out of the way. So now, in this right here is the hole where the engine will actually, when it's done, the external engine will bolt in. So this goes in here. Yeah. These pins down inside here, the 2 pins that go into these sockets, is kind of just a hope you get it, because you can't, there's no way to look down inside of there. Maybe? Yeah, it appears that it's in. That looks like a lip there so bad. Sorry, talking to myself, guys. When it first came out, what was it? As a matter of fact, you guys we were talking about it on a live stream. I think it was the 8-hour wood live stream that we were talking about. It was mentioned, and I went and searched because I heard that they were coming out with it, and went and searched, and I found it, and I was like, holy crap. Of course. I was like, holy crap. My wife was there, and I said, sweetheart, I have to have this. She said, buy it. I pre-ordered that thing the minute I saw it. And in all honesty, with moving that quickly to get it, saved me a lot of money, because I got it for about $100 less than it eventually ended up going for. So, engine baffles, just more parts. There, Eric, did you hear that? Another good snap for you. They've just pushed together. Pins protrude out this side, and then the other half of this, just sockets for that pin. Those pins just go on top, to where basically it's one piece, but you've sandwiched this flat part in between. And then push this vane in. I can never tell if it's, okay, it's a longer pin on the bottom. Push the vane in here. Another snap there. And so that goes in there like that. And then these 2 pins push into here. And I always look, because they actually show in the pictures the mold marks. I don't know if you can, I can barely make them out. I'm not sure if you guys can see the mold marks on the part itself, but it shows the mold marks on this side. So I always put them in the way that the picture shows. I don't know why. I'm a lemming in that, I guess. And that's in there like that. And then this. Wow. I'm trying to grab this part off of the page. And this will go in here. There's a very small hole that this pin here will go into. Yes, that pin there goes into a small hole. You can see the hole right there. Come on. I'm always worried when I'm working on something like this that's really small, because I don't want to break it. Oh, that's why. It's in, but it's not snapping or anything else. It's just set in there. It's sandwiched in there, and the pin, it'll stay in there unless this moves out. Once this thing is actually sandwiched together by the top part, it won't ever move. Another TIE fighter. All right. Issue 55. Beautiful detailing. Again, more details they're beautifully done, but you never see them again. I like when they do things like this. That what surprised me about the laser cannon lens. Usually they put those things in something like this. Some of these parts I want to say may be external to where you can see them. I want to. The part in the book is true part. So, again, like I said last time, there's 4 little indentations in the plastic here. And you got to be really careful, because I actually had the little horseshoe part that once I get this open, I'll show you guys what it looks like. I am missing one part to my X-Wing, and I'm okay with that, because nobody's ever going to notice it. As a matter of fact, it didn't ping off into space, but static took it with it. I'm missing that little horseshoe part on the last engine I did. So first thing, and these, it's funny the way these pins are. They're shaped just right. You would think that the pins would, when I first looked at them, I thought they pointed inwards, but they point straight down to fit exactly into those sockets. Just like that. And this will fit in here largely that way. Again, 2 pins, 2 sockets. That's how it fits in there. And now, greeblies. Lots of greeblies. With this, I find it easiest to actually lay the part to where Eric can laugh at me when I try and grab the book again, next to the piece that it's supposed to, that it is, you know, next to its picture in the book. because some of these are so close to the same. Oops. Actually, they've updated these parts because some of these, I want to say this one used to only have 3 pieces or 3 pins on it. So you had to actually pay attention and not stick them on the wrong spot because one's a little bit longer than the other. And I'll just put these in order of in alphabetical order. They fit extremely tightly. They're never coming off once they're on. I mean, I could pry them off, but I don't see any reason to. Part C, and you can just see how it slants down a little bit because it rolls over the edge of the engine bell. Or actually, that's the exhaust. So, see how that wraps around there a little bit? Part D has the exact same thing. And this one's a good one that I can see. Instead of the pins going in, blocking with my hand, instead of the pins going in from the surface straight down, everything is built to where if this is laying flat on a surface, all the pins go straight down into it. Makes it a little bit easier to get them in. Part E is kind of funky because it wraps around. It's actually got the only one that doesn't have, only pin hole that doesn't go straight in or go straight down from the top. So I'll pop it in there. Okay, and that's on. Part F. Where's F? Okay, F goes down there, and it has okay. I had to make sure I had it the right way around because one way on this one end, the pin, between the pin and the end is too short, and it's supposed to match up against that part E's pipe. Part G will go on right next to F. And part H is the largest one, most intricate, and it literally, I mean, I'm ecstatic with the way they design these because part H, with as long as it is and big as it is, except for these 2 end pipes, literally just fell into position when I sat it on there. Come on. I always talk to my model kits. was a little concerned there for a second, guys, because I almost snapped this one off. And then the little H. And that is all the greeblies on the outside of this engine. Kind of looks like it's got pipes running everywhere. That's the color I'm thinking about setting my engines to. I like purple. They bring us almost, but not quite, to the point of installing the light in the engine. So I'm sure the light will go into this engine in issue 57, which by that time I'll have the light in the other 3, because that's a month from now. Because this literally I literally got these parts Wednesday. Color. These 2 parts here make me nervous every time I have to deal with them, because they are so small and so fragile looking. So starting with this, the first thing, it's kind of funny, guys. I really, the first time I did this, I was like, did they really just have me do that? And yes, they really just had me do that. So we've got these hydraulic rams that go in here. And I don't have the part yet that will close this off, but literally those parts go in there and you never will see them again. I know I've said that a number of times. It's amazing how much of the detail on the there is on the inside that you never see. So that's the hydraulic rams installed. I'm just looking. I need to probably move my setup about a foot to the left, or move a light to over here. I'm just looking at the way how it's darker over here than it is over here. Or I need to be like Kenny and go out and get a really good setup and have all kinds of lighting. Okay, so keyway here, key there, line these things up, and they push together. And then this goes down. This part here will go on just like that. And again, it's on there. These are the fun part. And I watch videos of other modelers, and I've watched somebody snap one of these. There's one. One of our dogs is making noise. Means my wife is probably going to take the dogs outside. There's 2, and there's the vanes done. These will then sit down inside of here. There's the hole, big pin. This will just slip in here like this. That's set in there. Interesting. Oh, okay, that's when they're having me do that. I was looking for where the collar was in the instructions. So that collar goes on there. This part, there's a pin right here. This part will lay right on here. Oops. Or wasn't it snapping in place? Does it popping off of the pin? Lays in there like that. This will eventually cover this like that. Like, we'll go over this like this. It'll cover it. Not until next issue, and you'll see there's gaps here and here. That is where the wires will actually, here, here, and here. That's where the wires will actually come from the larger part of the engine where the lights are. Actually, I don't know. I don't think you ever see them in the movies. And so that's the thing, is those fins, once this part is on here, you'll never see it again. It's a nice detail. It's a very fragile detail, but you don't see it. Like I was saying, the LED wire will come through here, come across here, down in here, and come back out here, and then come out. I'm not sure if it's this side or the other side, but it'll come. That's where it'll come out to the rest of the wing. And there's the picture on the back. And that's it, guys. That is 8 issues, 8 packs of the X-Wing. I'm going to still do some work on it tonight. I'm going to start working on the other engines, but I'm not going to do that during a live stream because that's going to be a mess trying to get them apart. Because thanks, Eric. Because there's a lot of work or a lot of parts holding it together, and you saw how well the pins snap in. I've got multiple pins. I've got these screw covers to somehow get back off. So it's going to be an adventure. And actually there's one spot in the build that on all 3 of them I've done. They fit really well, except for these silver parts here. Every one of those had to be super glued, otherwise they flop everywhere. And these, it's kind of funny because these parts are ones that you're actually going to be able to see. It literally, when I look at it, here, let me get it closer. It kind of looks like it's an 8-cylinder internal combustion engine. Maybe fuel injected. Because that just looks like it's an 8-cylinder engine, which tells you where they got a lot of the parts from. Like, you can see things on, I want to say, I think it's the Millennium Falcon has a Moonlander on it. I know that the Eagle has 2 Moonlanders on it. So they put these kits together, or they put these movie props together using kits that you and I build. So it's kind of neat. Anybody? So I'm running out of things to say, guys. I'm really glad you stopped by. I'm really glad I love doing this. I really do. I love showing you guys this, especially when the comments, if I can answer questions. I'm not a huge Star Wars buff. Star Trek, absolutely. Been doing Star Trek since I was 4. Star Wars, I like. Other than the movies, I haven't gotten into a whole lot of them. An old wankle. Now, Star Wars, I love the movies. I just didn't get into any of the series or anything like that. Very true. Very true. 32-inch versus a 5-foot. But actually, the filming miniature for the movie was a 1/43 scale, because that's the scale that DeAgostini, the scale Falcon that DeAgostini released, is the same scale as it was for the movies. Oh, I see what you're saying. That they have different greeblies on the outside of the Falcon. So it's 8:08 my time. Been on for about an hour and a half, which is starting to turn into my normal. I'm gonna call it a night, guys, unless you guys want to sit here and chat. Don't type Space Loot. I don't have it. Kenny may bring it back someday. I'm sure he will. So I'm going to call it a night, and thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. Looking forward to your next stream. I'm catching up on it with you. Have a great evening, guys. And I will talk to you later and talk to you on Discord. Bye.